Christine, would you be able to monitor the chat if there are questions there that I might not see?
Yes, I will monitor the chat, and I will also be monitoring any raised hands that people have. So
Thank
if you
you.
want to ask a question, you can raise your hand. So yes,
Great.
I'll be doing that. Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to have you here at the webinar, and I really look forward to meeting you in a couple of weeks. As Christine mentioned, I'm Carrie. I'm the academic director, and Claire is the academic program manager, and we will be assisting you with your courses, your schedule, any academic questions that you have. I'm going to review some important information on the slide, and you can raise your hand or put questions in the chat, and we will also have time at the end to answer questions. This is general information. So I heard a lot of you were graduate students. That's great. We have a mix of graduate and undergraduate students here. So this is a bit of general information, but we can certainly try to answer more specific questions about different programs towards the end. So there are some reminders to put on your calendar that we wanted to share with you. For those that are living on campus, the move-in date is August 28th. And so just make sure that you know that's the earliest that you're able to move in, 9 a.m. to midnight on that day. Orientation is scheduled for the next day, August 29th through September 1st. It's a 4-day orientation, and we have a lot of fun events and really important events that are required so you can be best prepared to begin classes the following week. You are required to attend all sessions for orientation. Sorry, there was an echo.
Can you hear if everyone can mute, that would be good. That would be good.
Thank you. Thank you. We also get a lot of questions about your class schedule. When do I know my classes? So everyone will receive a schedule or link to their schedule or access during orientation. And you'll have the opportunity towards the end of orientation to meet with either Claire or myself to answer individual questions you might have. It is very important you attend program overviews as well during orientation because you receive a lot of specific information at that time. So for undergraduate students, there is something that we need you to do before you arrive, and that is to take a math placement exam. And I don't want anyone to feel nervous about this exam. It's to help us make sure that we have you in the correct math class for your major. So there are classes we recommend for business students versus computer science students. And you need to take this exam in order for Claire to be able to put you in the correct math class. You should have received some emails about this. If you haven't read them, please read them. We'll send a follow-up email to the undergraduate students on this call with a reminder. But the directions are here for you to take note of. The exam should not take more than 45 minutes. Some students go very quickly, some need a little more time. It's okay. And you can use a calculator during the exam. One tip is to definitely disable pop-up blockers because that can delay or cause issues taking the exam, and you should not take it from a cell phone. So you must have a laptop or a desktop to do this at. So I really hope you'll do your homework, and for undergraduate students only, please take the math placement exam before you arrive to Boston. Questions? Okay. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the programs, class, academic expectations, and also support, specifically academic support that we have at Into Suffolk. Oops. Okay. I didn't hear any academic English students on the call. I might be mistaken, but I will go over this briefly. We do offer non-credit academic English courses from beginner to advanced. Some students take these courses before they start a graduate or undergraduate program because they want to and need to improve their English before starting their degree. And so those students will take placement tests during the first day of orientation on Tuesday. Again, nothing to be nervous about. It's just to ensure that we have you in the correct level. And it's 18 hours a week of non-credit English program courses. So International Year One. International Year One are for undergraduate students. Students, you finish your high school in your country or maybe even in the US. And this is your first year. We also have some transfer students that have taken some credits at other undergraduate institutions and are starting at Suffolk, and those are called University Transfer Program students. So some of you will be doing 1 semester and some of you will be doing 2 semesters. That's based on your application admissions profile. And the sequence of classes will be a little bit different. So you might have a friend who's also in business finance who's in a 1 semester. You might be in a 2 semesters. Your schedules will look a little different, and that's okay. They're supposed to. All undergraduate students have to take English courses, but these English courses are credit-bearing courses. They're 4 credits each, and they count to your degree. And you take a listening and speaking course and a reading and writing course each semester so that you can have the foundation of the English skills to begin what we call Writing 101. So these are required classes. The good news is you can also take credit-bearing classes, and you're in 15 to 17 credits total based on your program and your major. And those classes will be different depending on your track. So we have business, computer science, general College of Arts and Science, and that's for students who are non-business, maybe a law, pre-law, psychology, social science majors, science and mathematics, and art and design. So pre-arrival, as you probably know, you had to choose one of these, and then you choose your major in that area. And you have an opportunity to change your major when you arrive, so you don't have to worry about that now, but you do have to make a decision about those 5 tracks so we can ensure you're in the correct classes. The website offers really great information on all the different majors that Suffolk offers. So if you haven't looked, please go to suffolk.edu and you'll look under academics and undergraduate programs, and you can view them alphabetically and see the curriculum, see what options of careers might be. And I think this is a very valuable tool for undergraduate students to look at either over the summer or during your first semester. No questions yet. I don't see. Okay. Master's program. So our integrated master's program are graduate degrees, and we have the options of law, business, and College of Arts and Sciences. I heard a lot of business students on this call. So MBA, MSBA, management, those are all the Sawyer Business School. Again, for graduate programs, you might be in a 1 semester or a 2 semester. and that's based on your admission profile. It's important to know that for all IMP programs, all integrated master's programs, that you will have either 1, 2, or 3 academic English courses and courses for your program, credit-bearing courses at the same time. And the English courses are to support your reading and writing, professional communication, prepare you for graduate level writing in your program. Again, the AE courses are non-credit, 0 credit. They do not count towards degree, but they are still very, very important. You must do well because they're on your transcript, your official record, and there are progression requirements. So you must meet and maintain a specific level of English proficiency to be able to move to the next semester. And we'll talk about that now. Oh, actually, not sure if it's on there. But to give you an idea, it's a little bit, it varies by school, and we'll go over this at orientation. But what's the most important to know is that a B, so in the US system, A is the best, F is the worst. I know no one will have Fs, but you must maintain at least a B, which is approximately 84% for your English classes. Hopefully you'll do even better, but that's the minimum proficiency that we need to see for master's programs. So expectations. During orientation, you'll have a presentation on the American classroom to learn about cultural norms. But I wanted to highlight a couple of these now so you can prepare. Attendance is pretty obvious. It's really important that you are actively engaged in class by asking questions, working with your teams, meeting with your professors if you need to during office hours. This is really important to get the most out of your courses. Being on time is also very important, and it's very, the cultural norm here is to usually arrive even a few minutes before class starts to be ready with either your laptop, your notebook, anything that you had to do before class, getting your coffee, you should have done it, and you should be ready and prepared to learn at the time that class begins. Try to minimize distractions. Different professors will have different policies on cell phones. Usually that's the biggest distraction. And I completely understand, but you're all adults, so make sure it's on silent. If you have an emergency, quietly leave the room and take the call so you're not disruptive to the rest of the class who's trying to pay attention and to learn. We offer a lot of workshops and also social activities. Both are a great way to meet other students outside of your classes, to practice your English with different people, to learn about Boston. Workshops focus on time management, presentation skills, reading, skimming, scanning skills. Those are some examples. And the social activities, there's really a little bit of everything. You'll receive a calendar when you arrive, and there are weekly activities to get you in and around Boston to really experience firsthand where you're living, because it's a great, busy city, and fall's really a beautiful time to be here and to explore. Your schedule, you'll have an opportunity at orientation to make sure you know how to read your schedule, days, times, locations. We have different building abbreviations, so we'll be reviewing all of that at orientation. It's really important to know where you're going on day one. And I recommend when you go on your campus tour or you walk around with friends to find your classrooms before the first day, so you don't have to stress about knowing where to go. Email. Pre-arrival, we might have been using a personal email account, Gmail or such, but you are expected to be using your suffolk.edu email very actively. That's where all of the staff will contact you. You'll receive newsletters, updates from on classes through Canvas to suffolk.edu at times. So please make sure by orientation, you know how to log in, and you get in the habit of reading and checking it every day, just like you would any other account. Put it on your phone if that makes it easier. Communicate. We can't help you if we don't know what's happening. So please, we're a friendly group of people here. We're all really excited. We've worked with international students for many years. Many of us have been teachers before. And so we're really here to help you with anything. If it's, you know, getting a cell phone, bank account, or you're having problems communicating with team members in a class, if you keep it quiet, you know, we won't be able to read your mind. So it's very common for us to support students in those areas. And the earlier we know, the more opportunity we have to give you some advice. Syllabi is really your, a syllabus is your guide to each class. So you'll have one syllabus for each class. It's a really important word to become familiar with. It has all of the instructor information, how to contact professors, how to access course information. But most importantly, it shows you the learning objectives of the course and the important assignments and their due date, so you can plan ahead. And we'll show you a bit more about how to read a syllabus in the American Classroom Orientation. Canvas is our learning management system. If you've never heard of it, you will become familiar with it quite quickly. All of your courses have materials on Canvas. You may start receiving welcome messages from professors on Canvas. You're often asked to upload assignments to Canvas. So there is support. If it's new for you, it's okay. It's new for us. Suffolk just started working with it this summer. And so we are all learning together. But there are a lot of different resources on Suffolk's website, and I think we'll be sending you some as well if we haven't already, on some tutorials to become familiar with the system so you don't miss any important information, because it is actively used by your teachers as the best way to communicate with you. And this is a little more on Canvas. It gives a little bit of a screenshot of what a dashboard looks like. It's similar to Blackboard, maybe Moodle, if you've used any of those in the past. I like this better. It's pretty clean. It's very organized. And again, all classes will be using it. It's the only option at Suffolk. Will we be emailing the PowerPoint out after, Christine, maybe?
We're going to, the PowerPoint will be saved to the website, to the Student Experience website. So where you found the webinar link, that is where you go to watch the recording and also get the PowerPoint of the webinar.
Excellent. So if you go to do that, you can click on this red link here, and it will bring you to some video tutorials so you can get familiar with Canvas if you'd like to do so before you start your classes. So what do you need for the first day? Pens, paper, notebooks. People organize in different ways. So if you want one notebook per class or a binder, often, sometimes people like a hard copy of a calendar to write down. Think about how you learn best and make sure that you've purchased what you need and you're ready. Please do not go to class without anything to write with or any paper. It's not a good idea to take all the notes on your phone. It can make sometimes instructors think you're not paying attention. So it's preferred that you use a pen and paper or a laptop and you'll just want to make sure with the instructor that laptop use in class is okay. Sometimes there's different policies on that, and that will be discussed during day 1 of class. But if you have a laptop and you prefer to type, just let your teacher know. But you will want to take notes and, add important information to your calendar. Textbooks, you don't necessarily need to buy all of them for the first day. Some people do, and that's okay. But you can also, most classes will tell you on Canvas if you need to buy it or if you need to do any reading before the first day. Sometimes for academic English classes, you usually have a couple days to buy it. And that's because if you arrive in the US, you need a little time, and that's okay. But the textbooks are available at Suffolk's Bookstore, which you'll visit on the tour. And also most of them are available on Amazon. That's usually the fastest way, and sometimes it's a little bit cheaper. So you'll want to look at the names of the books and check to see what works best for you. It is important, though, that you have access to your textbooks that first week. Laptop is very important, smartphone, just like you would, hopefully in your countries. There are some laptops in the library that students can borrow, but you can't take them home. And there are some computer labs on campus, but they're not open 24 hours. So if you don't have a laptop, you'll want to plan ahead. Also, the staff can help direct you to some resources. But it's never an excuse not to do your homework because you couldn't access it. You have to make a plan. There's also the library, which is right below us, in the Into Suffolk Center, has many computer stations, and you'll see students there all the time working and printing. Shopping. Luckily, we're in a really great location. There is a lot of shopping that you can walk to very easily. A pharmacy, convenience stores. There's a Target not far away, which is kind of, I love going to Target. They have everything from soap to notebooks to video games to clothes. And Downtown Crossing, you'll get to see, has a couple of other stores for clothes and bedding, things for your apartment if you're living off campus. A lot of it is in walking distance, so you're lucky you don't have to go very far to get what you need. So as you think about packing and what to bring, you should feel good that if you do need to buy something, it won't be difficult to do. I see something in the chat. Is there any?
Oh, I wrote, I gave everyone the website link to the student experience website.
Oh, great. Thank you. And similarly, on the student experience website, all this information about textbooks should be there with a link. There's some more detailed information about books, buying books, renting books, and how to do that. So I mentioned at the beginning academic support. We have a lot, and I know this is a lot of information, but we have a tutoring center on campus, and you do not pay extra for it. So if you're interested in getting extra help for English or even math or any of your classes, the Center for Learning and Academic Success is on the 9th floor, and you'll likely visit that also on your tour. And they have both peer and professional tutors. They have professional tutors to help with writing, English language learning, and also peer tutors for that, and peer tutors for some courses as well. So please take advantage of that. They're trained, they have extensive training, and many of them, the students have taken the same classes you're taking, so they've been through the experience. We also have a lot of former Into students that have moved on to tutor because they had such a great experience, they got help, they want to give back. So it's something to think about too for your future if you wanted to, tutor later during your experience here. Some classes will have student instructional leaders. This is not as common anymore, but for one of our business undergraduate classes, it's a little different than a teaching assistant, but it's a student that helps support you, has group discussion meetings weekly, works really close with the professor. So if your class is a little larger, 25 students is considered a bit large for most of our classes at the undergraduate level, 25 to 35. It's an additional help if you're having a difficult time getting answers from the teacher as quickly as you might like them. Claire is your first line for academic advising while you're in your Into Suffolk program. So please, you'll have an opportunity to meet with her throughout your time here, either sending questions by email or visiting in person or Zoom. And you'll have some group meetings, like structured advising meetings throughout your time, but you can always make an appointment one-on-one whenever you feel like you have questions. Workshops, I already talked a little bit about before, but there are many for academic skills. Office hours, you'll learn a little bit more of this during orientation at the American Classroom, but professors are required to have at least an hour in their schedule for each class. And so you'll want to know if that's virtual or actually in person at a desk. And usually they'll tell you to make an appointment and how to make an appointment, or it's called drop-in, no appointment, and you just go. So if you have a quick question about an assignment, you didn't have time, or you were maybe shy about asking in class in front of everybody, you have an opportunity to do it one-on-one. I will tell you, sometimes it's difficult for teachers to answer all those questions before or after class because there might be another class coming in. So depending on the location of the class and if the teacher has to teach another class, they might be more in a rush. So trying to plan ahead, make an appointment is always encouraged to get the information you need, or just ask what works best for you. Coaching, we have academic coaches also in the Center for Learning Academic Success, and they work more regularly with students, bi-weekly. Some students meet weekly to make sure you stay on track. You do not need to be a poor student to be having a coach. We have a lot of straight A students who do coaching because it's simply, they like the relationship, the mentorship that they've gotten from coaching, and it helps them to connect to other resources they might need on campus. So I recommend you learn a little more about that service as well. And I mentioned the writing. A lot of our students tell me that, I can listen and I can speak. I feel a little more confident because when they go out into Boston or they meet with friends, they're listening and they're talking and they're speaking, but they're not always writing as much. Or maybe you didn't do as much writing in your country. So we have even more tutors for the writing. Also on the 4th floor, we'll have workshops, English language workshops. I don't have the schedule yet, but hopefully we'll have it finalized for orientation, and they usually start the second week of classes. And it's often like a conversation hour or vocabulary, and those are drop-ins, so you can do it as your schedule allows you to. So as you can see, a lot of extra activities to help you succeed. So this is the schedule for the next webinars coming up. I don't know, Christine, if you want to speak to this at all.
Sure. So this was our second webinar, Academic Success. Then we'll have a third and fourth webinar. Our third webinar is Important Documents and Requirements. So that basically tells you all the things you're required to do before you arrive for orientation. And it tells you about the important documents that you need to give us. That will be Wednesday, August 16th at 8 a.m. That's Eastern time. So make sure that you put that in your calendar and prepare to come to our third webinar next week.
And then this is how to contact us. So don't be a stranger. You can email questions to info@suffolk.edu. As Christine mentioned, the student experience website will have recordings and PowerPoints for the webinars if you're unable to attend them in person. And we also have social media. Hopefully you've already signed up for the Instagram accounts with us to kind of see what's going on. We have students studying here this summer, and you can get a little taste of what you'll be experiencing in a couple of weeks.
And in fact, we also have a WhatsApp group. So if you're interested in joining our WhatsApp, please put your number in the chat. You can put it privately to me if you want. And I'll add that number to our WhatsApp group. And we have a question: what time does orientation begin? So on our first day, you'll want to arrive at 9:30 for check-in. We will begin our sessions at 10 a.m., but we want everyone to check in first so we can get started right on time. So even if you want to come at 9 a.m., we will have breakfast available. You can come and sit and hang out and be around, but definitely be here no later than 9:30.
Good question.
Okay, I'm gonna put the, we have a question about textbooks. I'm going to put the link to our web page about textbooks in there, in the chat. So give me 1 second to get that link.
What I will say about textbooks is you won't know what you're looking for until you have your class schedule. So the general information about the options for getting textbooks is good to see now, but when you get your schedule, you'll be able to search by class, and then you actually get to see the exact textbooks for the class.
Yes, so it's always best to see which textbooks your professors want, but then you can use this link here to get more information on how to get those textbooks. And I'm getting lots of numbers. So Kara, I'm going to ask you not to end, or I guess that would be me ending, whatever, until I get all these numbers down.
Of course, I see a couple of the questions. So while you're doing the numbers, I can take a look. One question is, do we need to bring anything for orientation on the first day? That's a really good question. I mean, if you are the type of person that wants to take notes, you could bring a notebook to take notes. You'll be given a folder with information and a lot of handouts already to carry with you, and you'll be provided with food throughout the day. You can bring a water bottle or coffee or anything you'd like also to carry with you, but I can't think of anything else that you would really need to have. You'll be getting your ID cards, and once you get your ID cards, that's something that you should carry with you and bring with you every day in your wallet.
You should bring your vaccination information to orientation. That's something you should have. Even if you uploaded it on the system, it's good to bring it. You will have an appointment with a healthcare provider who can make sure that you're all set with your vaccinations.
Great. One student mentioned that they have filled out the form for the WhatsApp group but haven't received an invite, so we'll follow up on that. And then what is orientation like? That's a really great question. It's really exciting. Campus right now is pretty quiet. We're all anxiously waiting for you to come. It's listening. It's a lot of information, but we try to keep it as fun as possible. And we have student volunteers So you'll be assigned a group with a student volunteer that will be able to kind of guide you from one session to the other. It's an opportunity to build friendships, to meet a lot of staff and to network. And it's a mix of kind of checking your to-do list off and also socializing and having fun while you get settled into Boston. That's my best way to describe it. But attending the sessions, you know, there's more academic sessions. There's also sessions about, like Christine said, you know, health and wellness, and other important resources on campus, that it's just best you have this information before classes start, because once classes start, you get a lot busier. So we try to use this week to help you settle in. But it's a real fun, busy week. Can you get vaccinated once you're in Boston? Technically, yes. It would depend a little bit on the vaccine as to where and when and what you might need to do. And there'll be information on that also during orientation. If there are any other questions, feel free to raise your hand. We still have some time, or you can put it in the chat. I'm just reading to make sure that we got through all of them so far. I see a couple more. Can we fill the college T-Pass on orientation? The last date has been mentioned as August 13th. Is that for the train? Okay, I don't know that answer.
Yes,
I'm not
it's for
sure,
train.
Christy.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, once August 13th is over, you cannot get the discounted rate until the following semester. So you can't do it during orientation because that's after the August 13th date.
Okay, because it has been mentioned as the last date is August 13th. We should fill before that, I guess. It has many questions because I'm quite new for that place. So I'm not aware of the station where I need to get in or get down. So I need some time. So that's the reason I just got to message in the group.
I'm not sure I understood everything that you said. Sometimes when people move to Boston, they don't really use the train as much as they think they're going to. So it's actually cheaper just to pay your regular rate instead of getting one of these monthly passes or semester passes that might be actually more expensive in the long run. So it might be a good idea just to get here first and see what your routine is first before seeking out that pass for next semester.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, excuse me.
Please.
I have a question. So how do you access your Suffolk email?
Yes, so you should have received an email to your private email with, it would be two emails. One would have your Suffolk email address and your username. And then there would be a separate email that would come that would just be a temporary password. And then you would use the temporary password and the username to, and it would have directions for you on how to go into the page and the link and set up your username and password. So you have not received that?
No, I haven't received it.
Okay, it could be that I know, Samson, you are a student we just received a little while ago. It could be that it's still in the system. So I'll write down your information here and then look that up. But I think it's still too new. I think maybe give it a week or two, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You will need, for those on the call, you will need your Suffolk email to do the math placement. So if you don't have email, please, or you're having problems knowing how to access your Suffolk email, please email the Intuit Suffolk address so we can try to get that fixed as soon as possible. And if you can just include your passport name in the email, that will help us, make the process faster.
Yes, and I'll put that in the chat here. So if you have any questions or any problems with your username, password, email, you can put the ask them at intu@suffolk.edu.
Great questions. Any others that we can help you with at this time?
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because people might have questions.
Yes.
So I'm just going to stop.